It's day 56. It's the last week. My car is totaled. My phone is broken. I've been disconnected. With being disconnected, I've come to a state of reflection and stillness. I see those who value and care for me, and I see how I failed to value and care for myself and others. The space to breathe this has offered has been both refreshing and suffocating. It's a different lifestyle in its entirety. Not just living without my phone and car, but this commitment to myself. I've come to say I am the love of my life lately, and it was something that was really hard to say and fully accept at first because I always wanted to give myself to someone else to the fullest so that I could know that I am in love. And this only put me in a position of hoping to be loved back. But like I've talked about in the trifecta of love, it is through self love first where all this other expression of love can be fulfilled and understood. I've come to read this week of destruction as a breakup with myself that needed external validation. And this has come to take shape in many ways. You know, I talked about how ourselves and our identity exists beyond just our body and exists in our artistic expression. And alongside that, I see that expression is also come to be born in just normal everyday aspects of our lives. Our car is a part of ourself, our phone is a part of ourself. This chair that I'm sitting on is a part of myself. And you might ask, how? Well, I've come to use it. It's a part of my reality, the wholeness, that which my existence can be tethered to. I don't even think I can fully explain what I mean. It's hard because it's like the way I'm thinking about it is the totality of life, the self that I'm operating by is ever changing, but it's circumstantial, right? So myself is tethered to this chair when I'm in this room, when I'm in this space. Myself is this space, but it's also not. It's everything outside of it and within me as well. It's not something that can be bound, right? And within my phone and my old car, I really bound myself to them because I grew so much with them. That was my first car. That was the phone that I've had since high school. And I grew so much beside both of them. And even though that correlation isn't there, the reflection that was offered to me, I feel really allowed me to let go. You know, I got to have that car through means of external validation. That car was a gift of external validation. My phone sought to emphasize the needs of external validation that I was still searching for. And I don't think that it was, I could have fully grown without seeing them depart from me in some manner. And You may ask your phone, your car, boy, the fuck are you talking about? But like, it's like those two things. Those are two different things, and it's like you're trying to attach these ideas to things that just don't relate, and it's like, well, you know, maybe this isn't for you because this makes sense to me, and this is about me. So like, shut up and get the fuck out of here, you know. But like, one of my friends actually, I was talking about how I felt that there is a struggle I was having between on how I was using my energy. If it was whether to be going after trying to have sex and casual sex just to feel that lustful satisfaction, or focusing on my creative developments and my creative endeavors, because I realized that with how I was balancing my time at the time, that those two things couldn't coexist in a manner which made me happy with how the results were being yielded. And he said that don't make any sense. Those are two different things, and that made me laugh because it's like those are two different things. What I'm trying like, yes, it's the energy of creation or whatnot, but ultimately, what I'm creating, it is two different things, and they require two different mentalities, two different mindsets, two different forms of existing. Or do that. you know, this stillness that I've been able to be in made me think, like, is it that I really needed to push myself out in that manner? Or was it that I just couldn't sit still with myself? You know, I didn't want to do the work to put myself first and have that happen. That's where the struggle was coming in. I didn't know how to put myself first. I didn't know how to love myself first. Still, even though I felt like I was doing enough, it wasn't enough. If it was enough, I wouldn't have had that problem. Right? Those two things aren't the same. It's like, and maybe it's because I'm slightly tired, but like, that really stuck with me when he said that. And it's like, it might be a nothing burger or some shit, but like, paying attention to how we utilize our time, utilize what we want, and how we are going about our expression. It's not the same. Every medium requires its own lessons and its own outlets. So, how can you maximize that in tandem with your self love? Well, by caring about yourself first. You know, with this last week, I really want to push myself into creating something that means something much more to me. I've been grinding these videos out, and they all have value to me, every single one. Um, but with these last five, I I want to do something that just pushes me creatively, in particular. Mentally, I'm cool. My mind is always racing. I think I'll be having a pleasant amount of like conversation, like we normally do. But like, I don't think there is ever a point in time when it'll ever be enough. We have to know how we can be satisfied on our own, especially when it comes to love in all forms. Because when you are satisfied by yourself first, you have standards, you have self respect, you have discipline. That's all you need. And then You can cut out everything in your life that does not mesh with you. And you create the life that you deserve, that we all deserve. And these lessons of self-love feel fucking impossible sometimes because it requires humility also. You know, something I was talking about earlier today is that I know for a fact that if you just take certain glances at who I am as an individual, I look like I contradict myself all the time. And you know what? I do. And I own it, honestly. And I can explain to you why these contradictions occurred. I can explain to you how they were something that needed to happen in my growth, why I started this way, grew and changed into this person, and why I might go back or I might not, and how these lessons ultimately came to develop myself in a much better way, right? Something that I like to do is dive headfirst into things and then figure it out. And that really forces you to buck up or fuck up. And I might be like all over the place, but it's very, it educates you on how to live in fear and confidence. You push yourself in a new light and you just grow as you need to. So, for today, day 56, I see the isolation. My phone and car broken. I'm stranded. And I've never felt more free. I've never felt like I've had community like this. And it wasn't until I chose to look away. I think about a field of grass which has like every blade super tall, blowing in the wind. I think about that drainage area with grass just as tall, bugs flying around it, little critters going in between it, life thriving. And we choose to cut it down, to say that we're becoming more connected. You know, Amazon just bought like 900 acres of land in Georgia, and they're gonna turn it into an AI data center. I think about all the wildlife that are going to be displaced and destroyed. I think about the Amazon rainforest losing thousands of acres a day. Natives of the land forced to cut down the very trees that they protected because they see they have no other option. The way that we treat our own people like cattle, the complete disrespect of life in its entirety. My car is totaled, my phone broken. But what was lost? My humanity is still intact. It was nothing. It was really nothing. I've only came to love myself a lot more.